All right, so let's get this meeting started. Firstly, I want to thank everybody who's joining us right now. And if you're yet to join us, this meeting is recorded, and we're going to release the recorded version to you so that you can watch it back and be able to attend to the things that we have discussed. All right. So, and firstly, I want to start off by saying thank you to everybody who joined our hangout on Sunday. It was really a very fun time. We're still in the process of putting together the media, the pictures and the videos from that event, and we're going to share it with you as soon as we can. So, thank you guys for coming and making it a very wonderful experience. I've gotten some of your feedback on the group saying it was wonderful, um, and that we would like to do it again. And we're definitely going to keep this up, keep doing it again all the time. But today is supposed to be like a session where we flesh out some of the ideas that we discussed, we threw around during the meeting. So um, we're going to be talking more in-depthly about what climate change is about and what we want you guys to do. So this session is meant to train you guys on the concepts of climate change and as well as, give you some projects to do. And then there is a reward at the end of it. So that's what we're hoping to do with this. So it's a continuation of what has happened during the Hangouts, during the Eco Games Hangout that we had the last time. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to start sharing the screen, my screen, because I want this to be a very brief session so that we do not waste much time. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys now. That's my slides. Um, so let me know if you can see my slides, please. Let me know if my slides are visible. Is my slides visible? Can you see my slides?
Yes, yes, I can see your slide.
Second, give me a second. All right, so this is it. So we're going to be talking. I already shared this with you in our community, so you can open up the PDF or the PPT X file on your device and see if you can follow along. And this is going to be it's already shared, so you can refer to it anytime that you like. So climate change, what you need to know, a beginner's guide to understanding climate change and taking action. All right. So this is just a 5-page slide, so we're going to run through like as quickly as we can. We already shared what exactly climate change is, but we're going to just run through it again just to give like a clearer picture of what we're talking about and all of that. So please just invite your friends. If somebody somebody who is not here, please bring them on board, ask them to join us and be a part of what we're doing, what we're sharing, and all of that. So just increase our numbers, please. All right. So what is climate change really? What is climate change? We already have defined it, during our hangout, but we're going to define it again. So as you see on the screen, climate change refers to around 10, 15 weather temperatures. Um, Give me a sec. So climate change refers to the long-term shift in temperature and weather patterns. While some changes are natural, human activities, especially burning fossil fuels, have significantly accelerated this message, right? This changes rather. So the Earth's climate naturally changes over thousands of years, but we're seeing now is happening at a natural speed due to human activity. So the Earth is, of course, expected to have like certain changes over time, over thousands and thousands of years. But what we're seeing right now is very, very much uncommon. Every time we burn coal, oil, or gas for electricity, transportation, or manufacturing, we release gases like carbon dioxide into the air, and these gases trap heat from the sun, making the planet warmer. And this is what we generally refer to as the greenhouse effect. So a hotter planet doesn't just mean that we have more sun. It leads to extreme weather, food shortages, and disasters like floods and wildfires. So uh, The problem is that this change is happening too fast for nature to adjust, and it's affecting human lives and economics. And that is why we're having this conversation here today. All right. So this is affecting us at a much higher speed, at a much higher rates than it should normally. So which is why we're having this conversation today. So why should you care? You know, why should this bother you? Okay, so the intention of us having the meeting on Sunday was to break it down in very simple and understandable methods using some alpha gamified approaches so that you can really easily assimilate this. And if you look at the slides that we have right now, it's very, very, very straight to the point, you know, so that we don't bog you with a lot of information, you know, but I'm explaining it further to give you like, you know, much more insight into what is going on. So why should you care, right? More heat waves, right? Floods and droughts, rising sea levels, all of these things threaten our communities, they threaten the world around us. These things, the effects of some of the things that we're seeing lead to you know, food shortages and water scarcity, increased health risks like heat stroke and respiratory diseases. All right. So this thing actually directly affects our daily lives. And if we don't act now, it will only get worse. All right. So when we talk about more heat waves, floods, and droughts, imagine hotter and longer dry seasons, right? With unpredictable heavy rains leading to floods in cities like, let's say, Lagos, for instance, or Onisha, right? So talk about rising sea levels as well. This is places that are nearer to the coastal lines and coastal regions. You know, places like say Bayelsa and all of those places are already seeing things like erosion and flooding. You know, putting millions of homes at risk and stuff like that. So, food shortages and water shortages, extreme weather conditions, and extreme weather, you know, conditions actually reduce food production. So when we talk about maize, cassava, and rice becoming much more expensive because um, droughts actually destroy this crops. All right. So it's affecting us in these ways. Okay. So also, like I explained on Saturday, on Sunday, rather, increased health risks. So more heat means more cases of heat stroke, malaria. Obviously, we're feeling it right now. Forget that I'm dressed the way that I am. Forget that I am wearing all of the things that I'm wearing. You know, I'm trying to still stay under the normal temperature, but you know, of course, obviously, all of us are actually experiencing the heat wave right now. It's not even fun, right? And there's something called, you know, I struggle to remember the name of this particular thing, but it's the regions that are heavily impacted by this heat waves we're currently experiencing. And most of the eastern, southeastern states are part of the region, right? And then talk about the north as well. So, I mean, it's mostly felt around this area. Of course, all of us are under that influence right now, but catching the heat and it's really not funny, all right? And this is because of some of the changes, natural changes that has happened in the atmosphere, in our climate, all right? And of course, like I mentioned, during our meeting on Sunday, certain sicknesses and diseases thrive in extreme heat condition, extreme like you know weather conditions, like when you have like the heat waves and all. So malaria from mosquitoes breeding in flooded areas, along diseases, you know, from all of the pollutions and all of that. This is as a result of like increased health risks when we talk about this pollution that we actually cause using our you know, human generated activities and all of that. So in recent years, Nigeria has experienced severe floods that displaced thousands of people. So like in 2002, over 600 people died. 1.4 million people were displaced due to flooding. So these floods are worsened by climate change and poor drainage system. So that's just to give you like an idea of what we're talking about. And that is why you should care. All right. That's why you should really take all of this into account. So how can you help? We've talked about what this is about, why you should care. Now, how can you help? How can you be part of the problem and the solution? There's the problem and then there's the solution. How can you be a part of the solution? All right. What can you do to ensure that these things, we're not just talking about it, we're doing activities, you know, doing things that would help combat the effects of these things. And this could be just your little actions that, you know, could make a whole lot of difference. All right. So how can you help? So how you can help is by reduce energy use by switching off from used appliances. It's not just saving you costs personally. You know, if you're using like prepaid meter or something like that, it's not just saving you costs personally, but it's also like helping, you know, in general scheme of things, in grand scheme of things, you know, to sort of like reduce the effect of climate change. And I'm going to explain that in a second. Number two is to choose public transport, walk, cycle when possible. And as some of you hearing these things might just be like, walk while like, what do you mean walk, or cycle? I mean, who uses bicycle these days? Um, it's easier to much more cheaper to take like public transport and all of that. And like we explained during our games, the Climate Masters game that we played on Sunday, we explained that some of the sustainable practices are not cheap. They're very, very expensive if you want to think about it. So, but at the same time, it's a consciousness that we have to balance what is sustainable with what is economically viable. All right. So choose public transport, walk or cycle when possible. Avoid single-use plastics and recycle more. All right. Spread awareness about climate change. Spread awareness. This is what we're doing here. To spread awareness. All right. Now, the key message here is that small actions by individuals, when multiplied, create a big impact. The small actions that we perform in our little communities or individually will create, when we multiply it, when we compound them together, we create a very huge impact. So let me explain now. When you talk about reducing your energy use, when like switching off your appliances and all of that. So when you turn off lights, fans, and appliances when not in use, it reduces the demand for electricity, which reduces fossil fuel burning. Because I don't know if you know, but to produce electricity, we still have to burn fossil fuel. Remember when we're talking on Sunday, we're talking about like you want to build a coal plant, you want to build this kind of plant to create electricity for your community, you have to burn fossil fuel, and that in turn, like, sort of ensures that we're diving down and doubling down into some of these sustainable practices. So by the little action that you take, it reduces demand for electricity, and which reduces, in turn, reduces the photo fuel that we burn. All right. So that may look like a fast stretch, but it's actually an action that we could take. So it's also going to also save the cost as well. So maybe it's something I should think about. Now, number two, we choose sustainable transportation, like walking, cycling, using public transport. These things reduces your carbon emissions, right? So every time a car goes from a fossil fuel and airport car goes from point A to point B, there is carbon emissions. There are things that, this carbon and unhealthy greenhouse gases that is being released and trapped in the atmosphere, right? That causes us some of these things that we're talking about now. And we discussed the Paris Climate Agreement, talking about reducing the Earth's global temperature to 1.5 degrees centigrade at least, or if we can't even get to that point, we can get to 2 degrees centigrade. All right. So if you imagine like crowded cities like Lagos and places like that has a lot of traffic and all of that, and there are fewer cars on the road, that means like there's less traffic and there's cleaner air. All of these things help us at the same time. All right. So let's talk about avoiding single-use plastics and ensuring that we recycle our plastics and all of that. Plastic production is one of the things that contributes to emissions. And improper disposal of these plastics, they cause flooding by blocking the drainage systems. And also, we talked about the landfills as well. When all of these things end up in the landfills, it emits the gas that we do not like to see. And we do not want to be in an environment and not want to be in our climate, and which is what actually generally traps the heat and increases, the Earth's global temperature, right? Spread awareness. Most Nigerians, they don't understand climate change. As a matter of fact, now that we're here and we're discussing about it, I mean, we don't have the numbers that we expect to have. Why? Because it's not a topic that people want to really talk about, which is why we're thinking about different ways to want to talk about these things, want to share the knowledge. Well, that's what we're bringing about, the gamified approach. And let me use this opportunity to mention to you that we're going to be rolling out mobile games that are just not fun, but they are also sensitive and climate change that would help you really understand the subject more. And then you don't have to really rack your head, to really, understand it and all of that. And it's going to help you just simulate what sustainable practices you can do in your day-to-day lives. All right. So we're going to be rolling that out. It's going to be in the form of board games, card games, and things like that. All right. So spread awareness. We're talking about the fact that most Nigerians do not understand climate change. So as you are going around the day-to-day activities, please share the posts, that we make to your friends. You talk to your friends about us and about our communities for them to join and see what are some of the things that we're doing and how we're creating the impact in our own little community and helping others also create impact in their own little community and all of that. And let us organize like, small discussions like this from time to time and talk about, what we can do to make, great change. I think Pindo Nakoya would say that it's possible to do great things on a small place, and great things can mean us joining the fight against um, climate change. All right. So let me give you an example. If 100 students in the university switch from using plastic water bottles to reusable ones, they prevent thousands of plastic bottles from ending up in landfills and waterways. So this is how our small contributions can actually make a very huge impact. All right. Now, I want to introduce you to our Eco Champion Plan. All right. This is what we call the Eco Champion Plan. So the goal of this thing is to get you guys to understand exactly why you should care, understand exactly what is at stake here and what this is all about, and then get you to take action yourselves. All right, get you to really do something that will contribute to when we talk about actions, 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 actions. We want you to really do something. All right, so we're training you to educate you and make you take action. So now, what the goal here is that you could either teach 10 people this thing that we just taught you right now and send us like a proof of what you did, or you could choose to, do one climate action. All right, do one climate action. So what is a climate action? One of the examples of climate action is like organizing a plastic waste cleanup in your area, running social media awareness campaign on climate change, and needs reducing food waste and encouraging sustainable eating, encouraging the use of reusable bags and bottles, reporting legal waste dumping in the community and stuff like that. So whatever you're doing, just ensure that like you are, you know, recording your impact, recording the progress that you're making and sending back to us. All right. So we need to be able to track the impact that you have made. We need to be able to track, what you have done. So record it, send it back to us, and we could be able to, we're going to be able to like track that and then reward you. Now, the reward for this is 3,000 naira for the first 5 people that take action, that do this. So if you complete this for the first 5 people, you get 3,000 naira. But there's going to be other prizes as well for people who participate in it. But we encourage you to really participate. All right. So you can just show us a picture of you, with 10 people where you're teaching them these things and all of that. We want that. All right. Send your picture to our community and we can keep track of that. Or you can actually, do perform one climate action. And these are examples of the climate action. You can organize like a cleanup in your area and tell us how much of the plastics in your area you've been able to gather up. We can do like a social media campaign thing, and all of that actually does count, but it has to be documented and recorded and sent back to us. So that is it. And I think this is the end of, the presentation. And I'm going to take the questions that we have on the group. Okay. So, and this video is going to be available for watching on YouTube so that you can get back to it at any single time that you want. And, we take it out from there. So thank you to everybody that was able to join us. And we'll see you on the next virtual hangout. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.